everybody, and welcome to Tuesday's instalment of the interview series. We go live at 7 o'clock British Summer Time, and we bring you different people from the theatre that would like to talk to you about a particular subject. So today we welcome the absolutely fabulous Alexa. Welcome, Alexa.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for coming and being part of the Cherry Blossom Arts interview series. This is our 5th instalment. Yes, this is week 5. And what we're doing at Cherry Blossom Arts is, although we do classes and we teach and we do script reading and I mean, you name it, we do loads of different things. We also like to touch people's lives and empower them to get involved with the arts, whether or not they've tried it before, and to sort of show that we've got this community going. And that's what the interview series is about. It's about informing people, and it's about getting people engaged and involved in something that they may not have done before, or they may have done but they want to get back into. So we're here sharing a breadth of experience, and the lovely Alexa is joining us all the way from America. Yay! So welcome again, Alexa. Can you just tell the viewers a little bit about how you got involved in Cherry Blossom Arts to start with, how you found us?
Yeah, so my school has a theater program, like many, but throughout this quarantine, there weren't a lot of opportunities for us to get to do theater from home. So I have been joining a lot of Facebook theater group chats, trying to get to know other theater kids and have that connection that we all love to have with other theater people, getting to bond over shows that are so inspiring. And I came across a read-through of Dear Evan Hansen that the Cherry Blossom Arts was doing. And Dear Evan Hansen is one of my favorite shows. And it's also one of the first shows I ever got into. So it was cool that I would get to read the script with some people. So I reached out and I loved doing it. It was so much fun. And I've tried to be at as many as I can since, because I love the community and the people, and everyone's so supportive and welcoming.
Yay! Alexa, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the arts, because you're still at school in America, aren't you?
Yeah. So I'm 16, and I didn't really get involved in theater until 14, my last year of middle school, what we call. And I had liked singing, I had liked music, I was involved in that when I was younger, but I didn't really know what Broadway was or what musical theater was. And the first show I ever got involved in was Hamilton. My friend was like, "You're gonna love it," because I was a history buff.
You've never experienced musical theatre before, and then you got involved in Hamilton. That is like mind-blowing, that is.
It's crazy. And it worked out because I love history. And I love Disney, so Newsies, came along rather quickly after that. I was too scared to always perform, though, because our productions at my middle school were kind of, the director did a lot of favorites, and she would pick like the person who she liked the most. So I didn't really know the director that well, and I was always too scared to put myself out there and face rejection. And then my last year of my middle school, so I was 14, I was like, I really want to be in a show. And going into high school, I would have to have some experience in order to make it. So I auditioned, and I got a pretty big role, but I was one of the only kids my age, which was really discouraging because my grade hadn't really been into theater. So I was with a lot of younger kids that year. I wasn't learning as much as I could have because everything had to be really slow and stripped down for the younger kids. We couldn't do much. So going into high school, my first year, I was 15, and everyone was so competitive. It was such a strong, these kids were coming from 8-9 years of dance and all this vocal lessons and acting master classes. And I was like, I don't know what any of this is about. Like, I didn't know that existed. So it was a big turning point that year. Like, I was gonna really have to work in order to get myself up. And that year I spent a lot of time in the back row. I had maybe like 10 minutes of stage time in a 3-hour production. Like I really had to sit in the back and take the back seat, which was different for me. Like, I wasn't used to any of this, but then, you know, my idea was always you had to be on the stage to learn.
Yeah.
So it was this weird mindset I had to sort of get over. And part of that came from seeing how incredibly talented all these people are around me and how hard I had to work for it.
Yeah.
So that whole, I mean, I spent hours a week practicing vocal technique and trying to do as much dance as I could, you know, in the spare time outside of rehearsal rooms. And I would spend 6-7 hours on a weekend, like at the school, trying to practice. And it took a lot of hard work. And a lot of times it was, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it's really hard to keep that motivation going. But, and I'm still learning. I still have so much to learn, but I've definitely made big improvements. And now I'm going to be 17 next year, and I'll be sort of in that leadership position of the theater program, which will be nice to have that new experience and help others. And I'll keep learning, definitely.
How did you approach that then, Alexa, when you got into something a bit later on to these other students? How did you sort of keep your focus and not allow it to sort of crush your spirit and your passion?
Yeah. When I was really, you know, that first year that I had started as a 14-year-old, and it was discouraging to see, you know, to have to think about going into a bigger school with such competitive people and not having that experience. I think what pushed me the most was seeing the transformations between other students. A lot of the students I was going to be in our high school with, I had seen them in other shows when they were younger, and to see the growth that they had from a younger show to now being a lead on such a bigger high school stage.
Wow.
As 18-year-olds, I think that really motivated me, knowing that I could do it. And it was really scary because these kids had so much training, and I was going to have a year tops to prepare myself to go into this, you know, bigger place with more people. It was definitely just seeing the growth that people can have over a short amount of times. And also, I think falling in love with it made a big change. I know kids who do theater but don't know any musicals on Broadway.
Yeah.
And I understand how, like, being in a theatrical production is totally different than loving another musical. I think for me, finding musicals that I was really attached to and finding musicals that I could love and worship and listen to every day made me want to become better.
Yeah.
It made me want to say, I want to be in a show that's going to make somebody feel the same way I'm feeling about this show right now.
Okay, so what do you think your teachers could have done better to support your journey against these other people that, let's say, you know, were a bit more elitist in the school?
Yeah. I think my teachers at the time that I was first discovering musicals and theater and music in general, I think it would have been really helpful to have more open-minded teachers, because I think a lot of what I was experiencing was teachers were casting shows and picking these shows based off of the people they had in their program.
Yeah.
Like, we would do Little Mermaid, and they picked Little Mermaid because they had the perfect Ariel, you know, that could play the part. And I think it would have been a lot more helpful to have that opportunity to really cast on the spot.
What else then? What else could they have done better?
I think getting involved with the community larger than ourselves was also something I really would have liked to do at a younger age. Going to see a Broadway show, like encouraging us to go see a show. Or, I mean, we're close to the city. We're 30 minutes from Times Square, so it's not impossible. And I understand that, like, tickets are so expensive to go on Broadway, but even going to see a show that's not doing so well, like, just getting into that community, learning more about people outside of our school would have been so helpful, because it became such a toxic area.
Yeah, see, and
when
that
you're stuck in this little clump of people and you have no idea of anything outside of you, it becomes uncomfortable and almost like a disease. Like you can't, you know what I mean? It's really hard to be in an environment like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think my teacher now has been doing a really great job of immersing us in all different types of theater, all different communities, going to see other schools' productions and all these, community theaters that are around New York City. I think one thing she taught me, my current theater teacher has taught me really well, is that it's more than just how good you are as a talent wise. It's when you walk into an audition room, you open that door and you're officially auditioning, and they look at your body language, they look at the way you talk to people, and if you're making eye contact with them. And I think that was a really big eye-opener that I would have liked to know at a younger age.
Sure.
But it's more than, you don't have to be the perfect singer to get the lead on Broadway. It's the kind of person you are, how hard you're willing to work.
Yeah.
Dedication was a big thing. Like knowing you have to show them that you want to work. You can't just say that you're going to work.
So what about your parents, Alexa? Because obviously you have to ensure that your parents are supportive of what you do. So, how have they supported your road into the world of the arts?
I'm lucky because my parents are very supportive of it, and they are really into the fact that I'm so passionate about what I'm doing. I think it took a lot of convincing.
Right.
Not in the aspect of can I do this show, but convincing in can I be as good as I can be? Like can I spend this entire year nothing but training? And that was a big difficult decision, because obviously I'm still in regular school, and I'm not in an area that has a school designed for arts. That would be a longer commute to get to that school, and it's expensive. And the school that I was attending now, our theater program is competitive, but it's very small compared to the size of our school and the other things that we have to do and the testing and everything. And it was a lot of nerves. Are you going to have time to do your tests? And are you going to have time to get your homework done? And are you going to have time to do these other things that we have to do after school, whatever that may be, whatever time of year? Do you have time to go to the doctor's appointment? Like, things that we have to do on a regular basis that I was trying to cut out to train.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was trying to find a good balance of, what can I do? What can't I do? A lot of it was just showing them how much I cared about it. I don't think it was processing in their minds how dedicated I wanted to be until I was spending every day after school until 10 p.m. at school training.
Yeah. Wow.
Working in the rehearsal room and playing the piano, and they would get annoyed and they're like, why aren't you coming home? Like, I need to come pick you up. And I'd say, you can't, like, I have to do this. And I think that took a while to get used to. It took a lot of conversations of saying, like, this is what I want to do with my life. And I need to learn now while I can, so I have the most opportunity to grow while I'm at this young age and find who I want to be and what I want to do.
So we're starting to wind down this interview. Can you just tell the audience, what was the thing that made you go, I need to be in the arts? What was like the thing that caught you?
This is a hard question.
I know, right?
I honestly think it was getting involved in the musicals and listening to soundtracks like Hamilton, and I mean even the older shows, but listening to that soundtrack for the first time and hearing how you could tell a story about something but touch someone's life about something else. Like they're talking about the founding father of America and his experience, but it also tugs on love, and it also tugs on all of these other family and all these other emotions that you can feel, even though you're completely dissociated from the moment itself.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. And I think just having that connection and knowing that you could give that connection to someone else is what drew me in. Knowing that there are musicals out there that are so unrelated to your life but can mean so much to you personally.
Yeah, and all those amazing layers.
And just the construction of musicals, like getting to listen and saying that word, and this, and putting things together was really the draw of just having, it's an incredible masterpiece of work that takes so long to dissect, but it's so worth it.
Yeah. So finally, can you give your advice to somebody that's watching this, who this interview is really resonating with them? What can you say to them about either getting into the arts, getting back into the arts, trying to get their parents to understand how much they want to be involved in the arts, or perhaps they've got people in their school that are really competitive and really much more experienced than them, but they really just want to do it and they don't really know how? What's your advice to those people?
I think the biggest thing I can say is look at the people who inspire you and push to be like them, but don't be a clone. It's not, if my favorite actress is, I don't know, Philippa Sue, like, I don't have to be exactly like her. I can be as successful as her, but it's my individual journey as to what my voice is going to sound like. I can't make my voice sound like somebody else. I can't make my body move like somebody else. You are your own individual person, and that's definitely a big thing to keep in mind. And just push yourself as hard as you can, but don't think that you have to be the perfect standard actress. It's how you want to look within yourself, and that's hard to grasp. I think
it is. You're actually making me well up, because if somebody had actually said that to me when I was younger, or maybe people did say that to me when I was younger and I just didn't hear it, but I think that is such a beautiful way to explain be yourself. And
it's hard to do that, because you look at these people around you and you want to be just like them, and it's so easy to say, I'm gonna be just like them. It's impossible. You're gonna work yourself and never get anywhere. It's still something I'm trying to understand, but when you have that ability to say, I am who I am, and this is the greatest I can be in the moment right now, and you accept that, you get so much farther in what you're doing, because you have this newfound confidence.
I love that. I'm the greatest I can be right now.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Tomorrow,
you need to put that on a sticker.
And it's like, sure, tomorrow you might be better, and the day after there's always stuff to learn, but like right here in this moment, I can't be any better than I am already. So why not show that off?
I love that. That has just blown me away. I am the greatest I can be right now. That's the message today, guys. That is what Alexa's telling you. Listen to Alexa. She's an amazing young woman. She's inspired me. We've only met recently through Cherry Blossom Arts, like I said before. She sent me some amazing messages about her fangirling, as she calls it, over Dear Evan Hansen, and we've just had some lovely contact when it comes to the arts. So come and contact us if you want any advice. If you want to speak to Alexa, direct message us and we'll put you in touch. Thank you so much for joining us, Alexa, for the interview series. It's really nice to speak about your experiences, and hopefully your experiences in this conversation can help others get through to the arts, be themselves, and be the best they can be today. Yay! Thank you for coming. Big claps
Thank
to
you for
Alexa.
having me.
All right, guys, so the interview series is every Tuesday on the Cherry Blossom Arts page at 7 o'clock, where we bring you different people from the industry to talk about the arts, why we love it so much, and why we always want to get you involved. But from myself and the fabulous Alexa, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.